Hello, everyone. As if we didn't have enough of those, Sarah Wagenknecht, the head of the left-wing German BSW party, who has been dubbed Putin's friend, joins the cohort of idiots who basically promote surrender when it comes to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Her idea of peace is a ceasefire uh, without withdrawal of Russian troops, and then having a UN-sponsored referendum for the occupied areas to determine where they're going to end up. Really? I do kind of wonder if that was the case with some German territory. Oh, wait! It was. Russia's city of Kaliningrad used to be called Königsberg and used to belong to Germany. It doesn't anymore. One of the shittiest cities in Europe it is right now. But apparently she doesn't care. Oh well. It's not as if the Kursk operation was ever a smooth sailing. It was just pretty fast and unexpected, and Ukrainian military was able to kind of spring a big surprise on the Russians, and it took the Russians 5 weeks, guys, 5 weeks to get their shit together and start actually doing something about it. So this doesn't surprise me. The point of the incursion had always been an element of surprise to induce panic and to create a distraction, to cause them to have to reshuffle troops, to cause them to basically experience that shock of having a foreign army on their territory, which all of those goals have been achieved. So now that they did get their shit together and they're starting to retaliate, it wouldn't surprise me if Ukrainian troops just rolled back, at least to some extent. I don't think they ever intended to keep any of the Kursk territory. Although, people who didn't evacuate, I hope you enjoyed living under Ukrainian rule. Because if Ukrainian troops go home, guess what? You're going back to the chaos, to the piles of feces in the streets, to no supplies, to no electricity, etc., etc. So maybe consider if you want to even stay there now that you have experienced the difference. Consider that. So far, the extent to which Russia had retaliated is unclear because, and we talk about this all the time, the news are only coming out of Russia. The information is coming out of Russia. For example, Russia's defense ministry said that they had recaptured 10 settlements in the Kursk region and listed their names, but there's no evidence of them doing so. So there's no images, no satellite images showing any fighting in the area, any action, any movement of armies or anything like that. So as of right now, any claims by the Russian government that they are doing something in the Kursk region are unsubstantiated. Poland. This is, by the way, interesting. So I have been to Poland 2 weeks ago, and right now Poland is struggling with an issue of its own. They are experiencing some very bad flooding as the result of recent rain. So Poland is not without troubles. However, they continue their support for Ukraine. They're continuing their support for the refugees, and they continue an ongoing dialogue with Ukrainian government. So Polish minister Radoslaw Sikorski, this is their foreign minister, went to Kiev And this is one of many visits by a Polish dignitary to Ukraine. And the discussion is men of army eligible age who are currently hiding out in Poland. As of right now, over 4 million Ukrainians have temporary protection status, and about 22% of them were men who are eligible for army service. That is a lot of people. Because remember, one of the things we've been talking about, one of the hardest things that's been to, just to deal with for Ukrainian soldiers is that they have been at the front lines for 2.5 years without any breaks, or without almost any breaks. Whereas Russians have enough people to keep throwing bodies at the front lines, which has been their strategy in basically every war they have ever participated in, ever. I mean, if you look at the history of conflict that Russia participated in, they have always won by numbers more than they have won by strategy. So, resources definitely are of great importance. They're crucial. And so, I don't know how Poland and Ukraine are going to resolve this. So they're saying Poland is going to suspend benefits for the men who are eligible for the army. Whether they're going to go back to Ukraine is unclear. We'll have to see. Really? Well, I mean, this is keen eye for the obvious, but it has to be said. North Korea supplying missiles to Russia has been a problem this entire time. And again, both Russia and North Korea are sanctioned to the gills, and they don't care. They're going to keep doing their thing. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're not going to stop. So there has to be another way to work around this. And again, if Russia has an advantage of getting missiles and drones and other supplies from the likes of China, Iran, and North Korea, Ukraine should have something to level the playing field, namely the permission to use long-range weapons. Duh! You think? Seriously, though, he is absolutely right. We don't have to explain this. We shouldn't have to explain this. So I don't know why we have to explain this. However, look at what Ukraine has been able to do with the long-range drone launches. So far, Ukraine has been amazing at sticking to the valid military targets. Airfields, ammo storehouses, supply bases, and oil depots. Because, yes, when you're waging war, your stuff runs on what? Gasoline, kerosene, etc. So, diesel fuels. So, yeah, oil depots are valid military targets. So, again, this shouldn't have to be explained. This should be obvious. But for some reason, we have to keep explaining this over and over again. And if you didn't have enough reasons to let Ukraine do its thing with long-range weapons, here's another one. There's been yet another deadly strike in the Odessa region. Just a reminder, Odessa is a crucial port. This is where Ukrainian grain is coming out of to go all around the world, including some of it being free to third world nations, some of whom support Russia. If that doesn't bend your mind, I don't know what will. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, Ukraine has to stick to its obligations, shipping grain and other exports, but oh no, it cannot defend itself. Really? Come on, get on with it.